Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely Thanksgiving. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. Alright guys, so the market is closed today. The futures market is open today. And so far, we are green on the session. I am just going to remind everyone that we did have these bullish looking weekly charts coming into this week. And I would be very surprised if we close this out in a bearish manner. We typically do not get this, bullish structure kind of look, right? You come back, you retest the most recent structure over here in the weekly time frame, and then stall out at the high right here. You typically don't get that, type of range going on if you're going to print something like this, all right? We did print something like this. We're then looking for a new all-time high on SPY, IWM, and DIA coming into the week, and then we're looking for at least $4 more of upside over on QQQ. We did get that, on Monday, so to start off the week. And, from there, guys, we were expecting a short trading week. Okay, we were expecting it to probably go how they have gone in the past, which is usually a, slow grind higher or consolidation, one or the other. And I think it's pretty safe to say that is exactly what we're getting this week. All right, so I'm just going to say we closed out across the board. I'm not even just talking about the indices. I'm going to go over some tickers in this video. On almost everything I'm seeing, we closed out in a bullish manner, and we probably did put in a short-term bottom over there on the chip sector on Wednesday, yesterday. For that reason, I think we're probably going to, either bounce. We're probably going to bounce in the short term. That's, just my opinion there. From how things are looking, I would not, expect a crazy bounce to come out of this, considering where VIX is, at right now. I'm going to show that in this video as well. But I think it is safe to say this little dip we got, we'll just come over to SMH, okay, before we go any further. I'll just show you exactly what I'm talking about. This is, to sum up the whole chip sector right here. This is the ETF I watch. You swept a low over here. You have the golden pocket sitting right below. You're coming down on the daily RSI to a spot where we have gone bounce for years now. Okay, for years since this point right here, 2022, guys. You see that? That's almost 2 years we've gotten that bounce. So I'm going to say either downside is very limited over here on the chip sector, or, we saw our short-term bottom here, and we're probably going to come back up here and start, getting a decent bid to the upside. I'm not looking for much more downside. I think it's best right now not to focus on the indices. I think it's best to focus on, some individual tickers you like on this dip. That is my approach here. And, for example, you got NVDA over here. I know it looks like a doji candlestick. You actually did close out with, a dragonfly doji, pin bar candlestick, hammer candlestick, whatever you want to call it. You can see it on Webull. It's not going to show over here because you had this little ghost wick going on here. Guys, this wick didn't actually take place. You can go on the Webull chart. It shows like a, dragonfly doji candlestick over there instead of, just a, regular doji like we have. But the only reason TradingView is showing what it, has over here in decision is because you had this little fake wick going on over here. But, pretend that wasn't there. And you closed out in a very bullish manner. Okay. You came right down over here. You missed this support right there. But I will point out, you swept that low just like SMH over there. And it does look like buyers are probably going to bring this thing up a couple percent over the coming trading session. We're talking, probably about a $5 bounce here, at least 4% to test the short-term moving averages here. We're going to have to see what happens there. All in all, guys, we're seeing things come down to spots where they start bouncing. So either downside is limited, okay, or we have already seen our short-term bottom and we are going to start bouncing. Okay, maybe it comes down a little more. Maybe it tests 127.67. That'll be there. That'll be in this next golden pocket. If we were to retrace this whole move right here, it would be clear as day a buying opportunity. And everybody watching this channel should not be looking at that as, oh, the market's falling off a cliff. It's actually crashing. No, everyone on this channel, okay, if you followed along with me for, over the years, and even if you're new, if you've only been watching here for a few weeks here, you should know that that is a clear as day buying opportunity. There's no doubt in our minds that is going to get bought up. All right. NVIDIA is not just going to fall off a cliff here. Okay. If you see this opportunity, I say it's a load the boat kind of opportunity by 6 months out. And like you secured yourself a gorgeous payday over there. I'd say the same thing on something like Tesla right now. I think if this thing were to dip any further, okay, or if you close out this week in a bullish manner, okay, I personally like the 400C, the May calls. They're going for about 3 grand, depending on how you close this week. I would just like to buy those next week and, just sit on it. And I think that's going to be a glorious payday. You come up here to $400, you're looking at about 100% gain. All right. You want to load that thing up with 10K, you're looking at a 10K payday. I don't see a reason to be bearish on this market right now. I know people are calling for tops on Twitter and stuff like that, but anyone who's prematurely calling for a top while the weekly structure is very clearly, very bullish right now. Okay. If you see something like that and you make that lower high and then you come back lower, that's something to be nervous about. Okay. But at the current point in time, a lot of these tickers are looking amazing. Okay. And you come over to something like Amazon, guys, we are going to go over things in the normal fashion we do normally. Okay. But I just want to point out how, bullish things are looking right now. This is Amazon. Guys, after, if you close this week out like this, we're probably going to push the highs next week. Okay. Like this is fuel for the NASDAQ to go higher. You come over here to Apple, it looks like you're in this ascending kind of pennant formation right here, and you want to run. Okay. It's pretty clear to me. That is what's going on. You got the equal highs going on here. Even if you get a pop and then it drops, people are like, oh, false breakout. Okay. No, it's just going to be break and retest, guys. It's bullish structure. Okay. You have bullish structure on the weekly chart. We know to look for, the dips on the daily chart as buying opportunities. We're going to look, to do that in opportune spots. Okay. Just like over here on SPY, we were calling out, retest the spot. I was pointing out, hey, you just saw like an absolute vertical move over here. Biggest move we've had in a while over here, just straight up. It is time to take some profits and just sit on your hands for a little bit. It's time to be a little risk off as, things might come back. Where did they come back to? Right where the structure was. Okay, this is that opportune time. Guys, we just retested that, bumped up to new high. Full structure up the wazoo over here. Why is it going to double top? It's probably not. And if you see some consolidation build out over here, it's just like what I just showed you on Apple's weekly chart over there. Okay. Yeah, it could take some time, but it's the same exact concept. You're just consolidating in a bullish manner, and you're probably going to explode to the upside eventually. We don't have reasons to be bearish. Okay. So I want to make that pretty clear at the start of this video. And now let's go over some levels that we're going to be paying attention to over the following trading sessions. Okay. Now, as I just pointed out, I'm bullish over here on SPY. If you get a dip, it's just going to test this daily 9 over here. Okay, that would align with your 595.20 support over there. Low of this candlestick right there. All right, you are in this little range going on here, so let's talk about that. If you want to see some more downside, if you break right here, 597.28, you're going to be watching 595.20. You're going to have the daily 9 EMA right there. And if you really want to pull back, all right, and test 593.15 or 591.04, guess what you're going to have right there? You're going to have the 21 EMA. That is what supported price over here. We had a lot of confluence going on over here, guys. And, at the end of the day, if you do pull back after, slightly making this high over here, you're very likely going to see that get bought up. Double tops are not common. Okay, typically you're going to get the bearish structure forming, which comes in the form of you pulling back, you get a bounce, that creates a lower high, not a higher high, a lower high, and then you take out that. That is what is typically going to, suggest you have further downside incoming. Okay, until that, happens, I don't see a reason to be bearish on this market. And, speaking of the weekly chart, I know the daily chart could have some tricks, but that's why I always reference the weekly chart. And that's why every single week we have a weekly update that comes out. It comes out on Saturday mornings. And guess what? We go over the weekly charts. Why? Because we want that reminder of how are things actually looking, okay? You see how this low didn't take out that low. Well, guess where it did test, okay? Throw back to when we were just mentioning, buy at the opportune times. Over here, okay, your dip buy opportunities. I will point out those opportune times, and this was the most recent one. But in reality, if you pull back a little further over here, you were just going to retest over here. We already knew buyers were over here. You're going to have the weekly 21 that is supporting price all along the way, right here, right here, right here. Okay, if you test right here, bullish structure. So it's the same concept. Okay, guys. Until we take out one of these previous lows, and now at this point, it's going to be right here. Okay. Yes, if you take out right here, things are going to be a little hairy. Okay. And we're still going to buy the dip over here. But in reality, we don't want to see that happen. Okay. because then you're going to, it puts odds out of your favor. Okay. I'm going to say if we come down and take out this low right here, we're in a neutral market. You take out this low. Okay. Then we can look for a major sell to start happening, a major correction, we'll call it, something like this. Okay. But until that happens, we are definitely bullish on this market. And that is that. Now, before we go any further, I will point out VIX over here still is probably going to take out this low, which means we are probably going to be seeing a little further upside over there on the indices. And that's why I was saying this is the chart right here that makes me say, hey, focus on the individual tickers. I think they're going to be getting a lot more action here than the indices. If VIX comes down here and comes down to this 3380 spot I have marked out, guys, every time over the last like 20 years, that is where VIX has started bouncing. You either start bouncing from there, okay, and having an actual VIX spike, or you will start putting in your divergence. Well, if we come down to around that spot and take out this low, you're going to have that daily bullish divergence. That's going to be room for, concern. And that would look something like, all right, let's come over here to SPY. This is what I think it would probably look like. And, futures in reality, they are, up, 0.2, 0.3% on the S and Q over there. But that would probably look something like that. Maybe you get something like that. Okay. And that's where VIX would spike right here. It would reset that RSI. People would get a little scared. And from that, we open the door to this opportunity. Okay. Or this possibility, I should say. Or you're going to just go along your way. Okay. It's one or the other that's going to happen, guys. We'll talk about these things as we go. All right. That's why we cover, we have these daily updates. We'll cover the short term. We'll cover the macro, perspective we got here. And we will always remind ourselves of it because in reality, all these pullbacks have been your buying opportunities. And that's why I like focusing on the individual tickers that we cover here on this channel. I know the behavior of them. And, if you follow along with them, you will over time learn the behavior of them. And then you can use that to capitalize on it. All right. And if anybody is playing options out there, right? I know, most of the people watching this channel, they're options traders. I'm an option trader. You guys are probably options traders. Not everyone is, but if you are, following along with what I'm saying, guys, I like 1 to 2 months out. That is my sweet spot. Specifically, close to that 2-month mark. You make it so, hey, if price wants to dance around, you're not going to be suffering too much from theta over there. You're not going to have too much theta decay. And you give yourself time for the play to actually work itself out and develop. All right. So that is my little reminder over there. This is why I say, hey, individual tickers are probably going to be seeing more upside than, the indices right now. Because if you come down here, every time besides over here, when SPY had from this time to over here, SPY had I think it was a 10% rip. I don't think we're set up for that right now. It could be, and we could have, a blow off top kind of thing before you. Actually, over here, you didn't even have your blow off top or anything like that. It's not like VIX had a crazy spike after that. You did that. It looks like you probably had a pullback, a decent pullback over here on the indices. And then you probably went higher on the indices until over here when you had a major pullback. So, I'm not saying get bearish on the market right now. I'm just, reminding everyone over the last, let's just keep going back, guys. We're in end of 2024 now, where you can keep going back every single time VIX hits this spot. It gets a little bounce. So don't be surprised. Don't call for a freaking market top and a market crash when VIX starts spiking and the indices start pulling back. I think we are going to, go up to make further highs here in the short term, probably next week. But then I think we probably get a correction. And that correction is going to reset things so then we can have a Santa rally like normally happens into the end of the year in that, we're going to say second half of December over there. So, this is how I'm looking at things. This is how I plan on playing things. Okay. So, if you're in things right now and they spike, into Friday, into next week, take the profits. Okay. Sit in your hands a little bit. If VIX starts coming down here, that's when, you're like, hey, all right, we open the door to, VIX getting a little bouncy. That's going to pull everything back. Okay. Like we're now in 2013. VIX still is bouncing back every single time, and it can be a little bounce. I'm not saying it has to be anything massive. That's why I say I'm looking for more upside over here on the indices. But if you see that, VIX, start bouncing over here, I don't want to call it a spike or anything. It can happen, but, if you see that and the indices start pulling back, it's not the market finally topping. It is just going off of the structure we covered in the beginning of the video there. It's just how things work. All right. Things don't go straight up. They don't go straight down. Okay. If you need help navigating the market, all right, there is the Black Friday sale. Just my little reminder, it's ending tomorrow. So if anybody wants to take 50% off of their first payment for the private community where you can, follow along with me, I'll show you my method to the madness, exactly what I'm talking about here. You could see in real time how, I maneuver this market and, do that. And then lifetime memberships, they are down to $800 right now using that sale. So if you want to navigate the market with me for years to come, and you want to keep pulling out these 50 to 100% gains and what I consider a relatively safe manner, hey, link is going to be down below, code Black Friday. But this is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Like, we're now back in 04. This is 20 years that every time the VIX comes down here on the daily RSI, you start getting it bounce. Okay, so don't expect the market to go straight up. Don't panic if it starts pulling back. It doesn't go straight up. It doesn't work like that. So that's all I really want to show over here on VIX. But I just wanted to show you guys, 20 years of data right there. The only time you did not really, get a decent bounce over here on the VIX, and you just kind of dance around here for a while as SPY went up, 10% between here and here. There was about a month right there, went up 10%. It's pretty crazy. All right, it can happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but it can happen. There we go. So that's us working VIX into the equation right there. Let's come back over to SPY and let's talk about it. Right, downside, break 597.28. Watch 595.20. That's the first spot. I'm expecting buyers to step in right here. All right, and if not, okay, I'm just going to build that out. Maybe you come down here to 591.04, which is going to be where the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement is, as well as the daily 21. You probably get buyers stepping up over there. On the upside, you're watching 601.33 and then the 605 cycle level, and then above there, 610. Again, I'm expecting like kind of a grind instead of, let's just skyrocketing from here, okay? And, if we get some action like this, do not panic. That's like this is my preferred scenario over here with what I just showed you on the VIX. That would mean, VIX isn't going to spike massively. That means we're not going to get something like some crazy stuff going on. That would just be normal. Okay. This is, my base case over here. That is SPY. Coming over to QQ. Now I trade NQ and, the NASDAQ. This is what I focus on throughout the day. So my chart is a bit more detailed. So we are going to be on the 15-minute time frame over here. As you could see, all right, you reclaimed 504.26 and you did end up, consolidating over there in a bullish manner. And now in the futures market, all right, you are kind of sitting up. Yeah, just about right here. Okay, so you're at just about 507 over there if we're going to compare this to that. As you guys could see, where did buyers start stepping in? Exactly where we were saying they need to hold, because underneath 502.78, guys, things are just going to get really ugly. Okay, they get really ugly really quick. Why? Because that's the daily 21. If you got to close under there, that's not going to be the best look. But also the trend line we've been watching this whole time. Okay, that is exactly where it was. So that's, if we pull back here, I was pointing out that is where buyers need to hold. Where did they start stepping in? Exactly there. Good. Excuse moi. Always get the hiccups. But yeah, right here, you found the first, sign of life from the buyers. You faded this over here. I'm just going to say, guys, if you ever see this intraday, if you see this long lower wick here, and then you close out a 15-minute candlestick, halfway down through the wick, chances are it's going to take out that low. So do not sit there, if you went long on this, okay, and you see it close right here, chances are you are going to see it take out this low. So, use that to your advantage. But yeah, then you came in, you started seeing the sign of life over there from buyers. Okay, 15-minute RSI was oversold. Okay. I think if we come over to NQ, it was kind of picture perfect where we bounced at. Yes, that is what I was paying attention to right here. All right, right there, guys. When things get, super oversold into oversold territory, I will mark out the extremes, because no matter what, the extremes typically are respected. You get at least, your dead cat bounces coming from there. It was no different this time, guys. You found it right from there. And where was QQQ? Right when that became the case, right on the trend line, right where buyers needed to hold. It was time to, take your bets. If you lose it, it's not going to be a big loss over here, but this is where you want to start taking your bets. And like I was saying, individual tickers, that's going to be my focus. That's what I was doing. And, I'm just going to say, guys, golden pocket test, trend line test, support test, You had the and 15-minute RSI was oversold. You had the confluence down there. You reclaimed your 504.26 as support. And from now, we're going to be watching 506.41 on the upside, and then 507.23 specifically. That is smack dead in the middle of this golden pocket coming from, you guys can see right there down to the low over here. Okay. If you can get over 508, chances are you're going to start pushing back up here to around 510. And then, if you get above there, chances are you're going to take out 511.45. If you could take out 511.45, that's when things get interesting. You have a straight shot up to all-time highs at 515.58, and I do think that move would be quick if we can get above 511.45. So that's what I'm watching over on QQ. And like I said, guys, 502.78, that's really the level you want to see hold. Okay, I know you came down to the next support over here at 501.95. All right. 501.93 was the low there. You definitely are respecting that. So you could put that in your chart right there. That's what I was watching in real time. And guys, really how I get my levels is you see where the reactions are. Okay. Like, coming over here to SPY, you just got to see where the freaking reactions are. Okay. Over here, you see, you literally got, some tests right there. That's right there. You could see what is being respected, okay? And if it's not being respected, then change the level. That is about it. All right, but downside, watch 504.26, 502.78, 501.95. IWM, guys, I'm not going to say this is looking too good, but, IWM is up, RTY is up 0.86%. That brings you, all the way up here, guys. And at that point, you're very close to taking out that 0.786 and then I have to assume you're going to take out the high, all right? You already hit a new all-time high, so we're going to take that off of our chart, and we are going to add a new level here, which is the current all-time high, sitting up there at 244.98. Okay, you missed our 245 cycle level by 2 cents there. Above 244.98, you're watching for 250. That is the next psychological level. And, same thing as we were just talking on the weekly charts, guys. This thing is bullish. There's no denying it. Okay. I'm not, if you were buying down here, okay, like we were pointing out, this was the major confluence spot. You had the weekly 9 sitting down here. You had the break and retest level. You had the trend line support sitting right below. You had the golden pocket test right there. You had so much confluence there. It was ridiculous. Okay. If you did not hold, I think I tweeted out, I will be flabbergasted if this does not hold. We had a lot of confluence in here. Now you're at the high. Guys, please be taking your profits. I know you're up. It didn't really matter what expiration. You're up hundreds of percents at this point. Okay. Take the profits when things start, slowing down here. You now have 2 topping tails. I know, in the futures market, you're up right now. You're kind of up to the high of day, just about. You're like right over here. Okay. 243 action right there. But, in reality, when you see these things, you should be taking off risk. That is that. Okay. I do not doubt that this is going higher, but it can, pull back and do something like that. We're going to have to see how this opens. Like I said, futures market is already up. Remember, guys, tomorrow is going to be a short trading session, so keep that one in mind as well. But, if you can get over 243.80, we're going to call it, you're probably going to take out that all-time high and go higher. So that is what I'm going to be looking for, all right? Come down here to the hourly time frame. Support is going to be 239.24. I know you're already above here though. And resistance 241.61, 242.39. Then you're just going to be watching 243.80. Okay. Get above there. Probably take out 244.98. DIA, guys, this is one that is looking a little hairy, and the same concept, guys. If you're buying the break and retest down here, guess what? All right, this is where you hit new highs. That should definitely be a profit, take profit level right there for you. Well, now you're doing that, and now you're showing signs of, sellers stepping in here. Daily RSI has just gotten to overbought territory. So that is just my reminder of taking profits right there. But like I just showed you in the chip sector at the beginning of the video, guys, I think downside is either limited or we got a short-term bottom. We're going to be getting a bounce. So, I saw, yesterday as a buying opportunity there over on NVDA. I like TSM, so I'm also going to go over that chart in this video. All right, but now let's jump into some of the big boys, the mega caps over here, guys. Tesla did close out in an ideal manner over here. I do want to point out the decreasing volume on these last 2 red days over here. All right, there's not much action when you're seeing the downside, and that's exactly what you want to see. All right, you want to see the bullish volume on the bullish moves. You want to see the volume come in if you are supporting to the upside. Okay, if you are long on this thing, you want to be seeing that little pattern right here. Okay. If you come down lower, 313.61 is a level that I think is going to hold. You already found buyers off there once. Worst case scenario, 299.29. But you know, best case scenario over here, Tesla is going to get above yesterday's high there. You're going to reclaim 337.70. You're going to close out with a nice lower wick over here on the weekly candle. That would be best case scenario. I have no doubts that Tesla is going all-time highs, considering Elon is going to be a major part of the government now, guys. He's going to be auditing the IRS. It's pretty obvious what's going to be happening over here, right? His company specifically is probably going to, have some advantages there. And, it's a no-brainer, all right? With this, monthly and weekly structure here, this thing's looking freaking insane. Pullback equals buying opportunity. Get down here to 299.29 somehow. Guess what? You have the weekly 9 there. Major buying opportunity, in my personal opinion. Just like when you went up there, you came back to the short-term moving averages. If you see the short-term moving averages again, that is your buying opportunity, clear as day. Okay, but here on the daily time frame, ideally Friday gets bid up over here and we close somewhere around 340 to 345. 340 to 350, we'll say, and you get that nice long lower wick on the weekly time frame, and then we can advance next week and into December. I think this hits gets up above 400 and then 414.50, new all-time high. We're gonna say by January, just because inauguration is in January, and that is when. Yeah, I mean, this is the Trump play right here. This is literally it. And then Bitcoin. We all saw what Bitcoin did. We all saw what Tesla is doing right here, okay? This is just consolidation and profit taking after a big move, and I have no doubt it's going higher over here, all right? So that's Tessie over there. And like I actually pointed out, all right, that's just my, little trade plan, and that's what I put together. I was like, let me secure a really big payday, okay? Let me just do that, and, that's just guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, but, over the next... you buy 6 months on your contracts, you're probably going to get paid over the next month. I see it as a, relatively safe position to be in there. And like I already scoped out the scene, guys. I think it's May 16 expiration. And then the 400C, they're going for around $3,000 a pop right now. All right, pop back up to 400 over here. Okay, those are probably going to go for 6 to 7K. That is a nice one right there. Get up to new all-time high. Maybe you're looking at like an 8 to 9K contract. I don't know how that's going to go. But, if Tesla starts spiking, premiums are going to spike again. And, I'd see that as a valid move. All right. So that's my little idea over here on Tesla. Now let's come over here to Apple, guys. We called this one out coming into this week. All right. Right over there. Brokered retest off for 230.16 level right there. And then you're off to the races. From this point, I do think a new all-time high is coming, guys. I'm just going to put that out there. You already got above your, 0.786 fib here. You're well above it at this point. I think it's coming up to 237.23. And then you're watching that 240 cycle level. If it pulls back, it is a clear buying opportunity. So if it pulls back over here, I'll just put an alert on for us. Okay. 230, 230 right over there. I think that, would be a level where this daily 9 is going to catch up with price here. And then you probably get buyers supporting, just like you have over here. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to over here in Apple. I am going to be viewing that as a buying opportunity if we see that pullback. There's that. And, you do have this declining volume on the past 2 green candlesticks, which suggests, hey, maybe you are going to be, getting that little pullback there. And yeah, that's that. There's less participation going on up here at these higher prices. Amazon. All right. This one I pointed out on the weekly time frame. All right. We will cover this in the weekly update. The next video that we drop in this channel is going to be Saturday morning. Guess what, guys? Weekly chart is really bullish. So if you close out, where you are now, or, 210 to 205, we're going to call it. We're probably going to take out the all-time high next week. That's, what this would be queuing up for. We have this nice inside day over here. Pop above pop above Tuesday's high over here. And, you're probably going to head to 212.25 and then 215.90. I will point out that you're sitting right there in the golden pocket right here. All right. Where do you guys get sellers, guys? Right at the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement. That is why we talk about the golden pocket on this channel. All right. That is a clear as day. Take profit level if you're buying dips. And then the second one would be at a new high. It is a strategy that will, continue to work. It's been time tested at this point. You've seen it time tested here on this channel, but I personally, just done a crap ton of back testing on it, and I've seen it, in real time for, years now. That is something that works. All right. You buy the golden pocket, you take profit, at, first one, key level, second one, golden pocket, third one, new highs. That's that. Okay, especially on the tickers that I cover consistently on this channel, that is going to be something that works all the time. All right. If you do pull back, you're watching 201.20 support. And then, obviously we have 195.37 sitting down there. You did not test it last time. I don't think you're going to come down and test it, but if you do, that is what you're paying attention to. That's Amazon. Google over here, guys, you are starting to get buyers, but you are, unlike the other ones that we're covering here, you're underneath the short-term moving averages. So expect sellers right around here. The level that would align with that is going to be 172.75. If you can get above there, guys, that's when, things can get interesting here and you could start getting a little bigger bounce over here. But, this golden pocket starts right above it. So, if you get a wick right here, I'm just saying I think, it's best not to focus on this one until things look a little bit better. You can clearly see when it's trending. All right. It likes to get bought up on the short-term moving averages, or if it's trending to the downside, sold on the short-term moving averages. Okay. So just wait. It's, not out the woods yet. So I would just say patience on this one. I'm not personally, focused on it at all. So that is Goog. Microsoft over here, I do think it has a similar look to Amazon with this inside day that it put on Friday. Okay, same concept over here, guys. Golden pocket, you are continuously getting sold off right here in this next one. Now, we're going to take this one off right there. Okay, you're going golden pocket to golden pocket at this point. You're just stuck in consolidation, guys. All right, if you want to see a larger move start up, get above 431.08. From that point, look for a move up to 438.50. And above there, guys, things get, pretty crazy. You can see move up to 446.75. That's probably going to be a key level that is, supported. On the downside of support, guys, you're going to have 419.78. If you pull back and test that, you probably at least get your dead cat bounce in down there. Maybe that's tradable for you with the, short-term calls. I don't like using those. I look for swing setups. But, right over here, swing setup over here was in the golden pocket. And, like I just pointed out, take profit in the next one. All right, there you go. But pull back here, you're going to have the 21 and the 9 EMA sitting there. So you probably do at least get your dead cat bouncing down at 419.78. If that doesn't hold, watch 416.16. Meta over here, guys. All right, I do think this one is heating up. It's looking a little better than Goog. You're still just consolidating around here. And as I pointed out, all right, you've been, range bound over here with these kind of providing like the middle point, the 50%, retracement on each one of these moves. Kind of been right in the middle, so I won't be surprised if you pop back up here to 580. But until we could really see a breakout over here and start a really trending move over here, I wouldn't expect much from Meta. I really wouldn't. All right, you're either looking for the pullback over here at 542.81, or you are going to be looking for the break above 602.95. I don't think there's really a reason to focus on this guy over here though. Okay, so those are those. Now chips, this is what I'm focusing on right now, guys. I do personally like how everything is looking over here on the chip sector. At least with the closes we saw yesterday, Wednesday session. Guess what? Big lower wick. We already covered this at the beginning of the video. I won't be surprised if you come up here and test around 248.19 in the short term. All right, that is 4% move, same as NVDA. That's the new move we talked about before. We'll cover that in a sec. You're gonna have your short-term moving averages over here. All right, so I'm just at least looking for a short-term bottom for that little bounce action going on here. And if you do decide to come down a little lower, I'm looking for a major bottom to be put in before we hit it with a ripperoonie. Okay, so that is what I am going to be looking for over there. Now in the video over here, guys, I do personally like how this thing is closed out. I will point out the 4-hour RSI is already, down there. I use extended hours when I'm looking at that. You're just dancing around here at this point. And, I'm looking for a $5 to $10 bounce at least over here on NVIDIA from the low that we just put in there. I do think that is very likely. So I'm thinking we probably come up here to around 140 from there. That is going to be where you have the short-term moving averages, the daily 9 and 21. Then above there, you have 144.42, which does align with the next golden pocket. Okay. You got, buyers starting to step in over here as well. But, I will point out sellers are, the ones who've been winning over here on this big move down. You did get sellers definitely showing up and showing out over there. But, I see this as a clear as day dip buy opportunity over here on the video. I like it. Avgo, this is one that finally gave us what we wanted. It was, toying with my patience over there. I kind of was just, I think it's probably just going to snap back all at once in, 1 to 3 trading sessions. And, you're going to get a decent bounce over there. You see what happens. 3 trading sessions, you go 15%. All right, so I think that is probably going to be the case. I'm not saying it bounces right back from this low that it just put in, but even if it is going to go lower, all right, every time over the past 1.3 years that you have tested this spot on the daily RSI, I mean, you've gotten these major bounces, with this being the exception right here. So this is at least what I'm going to be looking for from the low that you put in that day. You did end up getting, look at this, okay, $17 bounce, over a 10% bounce. I do think that is likely, okay? So I'm looking for that 5 to 10% bounce. I'm personally looking for, 170 and then 173.37 to be tested. That is what I'm looking for, okay? TSM, this is one that I really like, and now you are finally retracing. You've faked me out over there. You didn't get quite down there, but patience is king over here in the markets. Guess what? Now you're actually coming down here and retracing the whole move you just had. This whole big move, you are retracing that move. You're right here on the 21 EMA here in the weekly time frame. This is something that likes to support price. I will not be surprised if buyers start defending down there. So either we have a short-term bottom, and we're going to be probably coming up here to test, 187.66 over there. And that's where your short-term moving average is there. So that's why, I think that level is probably going to be tested here on this bounce. Or you see this get faded over the coming trading session, maybe one or two, and you put in a major bottom, okay? And same thing over here, daily RSI, guys. Only tested a few times. You haven't really seen these big corrections over here on TSM besides this one over here. All right, but even over here when you tested that, you still got a 10% bounce over 2 trading sessions. That's pretty massive, okay? So I am personally going to be looking for, a decent sized move. If you come down and tap this, that would align with you coming down to 175.45. From that point, I'd be looking for at least that move right there, but if not, something like this, okay? Like 175 all the way back up to 190. That is a move that I would love to participate in. And, if you give it to us down here, this is a clear as day dip buy opportunity here for at least the dead cat bounce. I'm not saying it holds there, but at least you're probably going to see some crazy stuff happen over here. Get that $15 to $20 move to the upside. That is going to pay you no matter what expiration you're using on your contracts. AMD over here, guys, again with the lower wicks, chips are looking like they just had a short-term bottom. They're bouncing off key levels at this point. AMD is holding your major support, held up over here. I know, false breakdown, but it held right there, held right there. Now you're getting, your fourth test down here and it's holding. Okay. I think you're probably going to, hit it with a little bounce action over here. You do have the daily RSI having a bullish divergence down there. I don't personally focus on AMD. I've only lost money over the years on AMD. I don't like focusing on the ones that troll me. I like the clean price action, which is why, I will clear as day call out these opportunities when I see them, just like I just did on TSM. And then if NVDA comes a little bit lower, I pointed out where to buy that one. And, no financial advice will be given here on this channel, but I do hope everybody makes money off of the analysis that we go over on this channel. I have no other reason to be making these videos. I hope you guys are benefiting from it. And I really hope everyone is doing well in the market. If you're not, just literally follow along with the videos. I'll give you golden tidbits as we go along. If you do want personalized help, I will gladly give you personalized help. If you are struggling with charts, you can request ticker requests over there in the Discord. I will answer them as soon as possible, and I'll give you, what I'm seeing on the chart. And, if it matches up with what you're seeing, chances are, hey, you're on your way right there, okay? But, I will try and help out as much as I can in these free videos here on YouTube. ARM. Another one over here with a long lower wick from a key level, guys, right there at the 0.786 fib. So this is ARM. I was saying this was really the only one I was liking. It was on this day right here, or I think it was on this day right here. I was saying coming into Tuesday. No, we didn't have a video on Monday. It was Tuesday. But yeah, right over here, guys, you had to hold your 137.29 level because you had your uptrend sitting right there. You also had, I think we had a golden pocket sitting right there. All right, it was right below. But either way, you had that uptrend. I was looking at it on the hourly time frame, and I liked what I was seeing over there. As you see, all right, you started losing it, you started consolidating around it, and then you fell off a cliff. So that is why that was, the get the frack out kind of spot over here, right on that trend line. You had some time, and then you died. Okay. As you can see, you bounced right here from the 0.786 fib, and you printed a very large lower wick over there with, increasing volume. I have to assume this is probably going to hold for the short term. Like I'm thinking we probably just saw a short term low on the chips. which makes me think, yeah, the upside on the indices is probably going to be immediate in the short term over there. All right. So that's what I'm seeing over here. Look for a retest of 137.29. If you lose 130.08, that is when we're probably going to be coming down here, 126.36. Okay. MU. This is one that I'm going to say just it's best to avoid it. You're just sitting in a range. Okay. There's no point in trading these things. You know, this is another one just like AMD. I just avoid. I have not done too well over here over the years on MU. I feel like there hasn't been the cleanest of price action. And there are definitely tickers that I cover every day that are better than this one. So we're not going to talk about it. Okay. We'll talk about a chip that I don't normally talk about. But INTC, guys, you again put in that, you know, do you see this decreasing volume the last 2 days on these big sell? All right. I love to see that. Okay. I also love to see that you have a large lower wick going on right from our 2334 break and retest level over here, our support, as well as the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement. And you have the decreasing volume on these sell days. Chances are this thing is going to be getting bought up, reclaim 2389. And, you know, next spot we're going to be looking for is 2477. And then I'll move back up to the highs at 2561. We'll see how this goes. But, you know, as you see, most of the times when you put in these lower wicks, you at least get, you know, a dead cat bounce there. So that's what I'm looking for over here on INTC. All right. Now, Bitcoin, guys, it is hitting it with a little bit of recovery over here. And I will just point out just one that I'm liking over here. If Bitcoin is going to keep running. All right, Mara, guys, it is basing above this trend line. And I love to see that. Okay. You do, you know, kind of have this resistance right here. But as you can see, you know, you're consolidating in between that and your major, okay, trend line here. You know, this is like a bull flag that took months to build out here. Okay. We can go like that, guys. That is, you know, not months, about a year to build out there. You got your peekaboo action last week. We pointed that one out. And this week, you're just consolidating above that. I really like how this is setting up over here on the daily time frame. And I think, you know, this thing, if Bitcoin is to run back up to the highs, I think this is probably something that goes with it. All right. From there, you can look for 3045, 3409, and then 4078 is going to be this spot all the way up there. Okay. That's Mara. Now, guys, let's just talk about some things that I'm looking at, okay? You continuing to base above its breakout level over here, okay? You got the retest, found buyers right at the 0.786 fib, and then you had a, you know, 35% week right there last week. Now you're just, you know, consolidating right there. You can see on the daily time frame after that. Typically, when we see these big weeks on the weekly chart, okay, you get the consolidation the following week, and then you get the continuation the week after. Or you just get continuation, okay? It doesn't have to move straight up. Some of these times, you know, it does move straight up the next week. But this thing could take some time to develop over here. At the end of the day, I do think this thing is probably heading above 30 bucks. 27 and 30 is, you know, where I'm targeting there. 27, 31 bucks, that's where I'm targeting. Okay, LLY over here, guys. I think this is another one that could take some time, but you are, you know, doing exactly what we were kind of looking for over here. You broke out of that downtrend right there. You broke that trend line, and you were just consolidating right there at the 21 EMA. You know, chances are this thing starts trekking upwards. If it does pull back into this 767, 61 level, I think that is going to be the buying opportunity here. You're consolidating in between your moving averages. You're now above the daily 9. It's not looking like it did over here. Okay, you're above the daily 9. You pull back into that. You have the golden pockets in right below, key level, and the daily 9, and that trend line. Probably get bought up there. Okay, next one we're talking about is Nike over here, guys. You know, doesn't have to get this pullback, but if it does, you know, clear as day, buying opportunity in my opinion. All right, but you know, I do think it is probably going to start just marching its way up to 79.93 again. Okay, just like it did the other day, and then up to 82.42. Okay, RK, this is another one that's not looking too bad, guys. You're just consolidating, getting ready for that move. Very similar chart to over here on Upstart. Okay, very similar over there. Come on, buddy. There you go. Broke out of that little pennant action going on there. But on the weekly time frame, this is where, you know, we got the same thing I was saying on SPY. Typically, you don't get the red week there following the breakout and then get a green week right there on the retest and then not go back up to the highs. So, you know, I do think this thing is going to wind up taking out this 58.38 level. So if it's just staying in consolidation, that could be something you're looking forward to there. I think this is getting ready for another, actual leg up there, which, at that point we could see a move like that up to 63.25. That is an all the way up there. Okay. And I do think 71 is coming in the end because this thing just had a massive breakout. It could take time, but it definitely did just have a massive breakout. Okay. Like 2 years, right? 2 years of being in this range. 3 years, 2.5. I really like it. Uber is another one we're going to put back on your radar here. You are pulling back a bit, but I will point out you're right here on the daily 9. If you pull back to 69.87, that is where you probably get bought up. Worst case scenario, you're coming down here to 67.12 finally. Daily RSI should be oversold, and that is where we are going to be expecting, at least that, around 10% bounce from there. So that's a little trade idea for you. One that was showing strength over here in the weakness. I don't even want to call it out, but I'll put it on your radar. Break above 153.28. I think you probably see, a quick move over here to 157.66 and then potentially 164, guys. Ooh, juicy, but reminder, every bull setup over the past year over here has failed. So there's that. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know we got a 40-minute with a 45-minute Thanksgiving update over here. I hope everyone is, having a great time today with your family. And, if you're not, just know I understand. I hate to say I understand, but I do. I do. But I'm here. Okay, I'm here. We have a community here, and we are all supportive individuals, and, we'll be here. Okay, so, don't have your family to spend some holidays with. You could have, the community. All right, we're all a big family here. Okay. I hope you guys do enjoy the day, and I will catch y'all on Saturday morning. I hope everybody has a lovely rest of their Thanksgiving. And kill it tomorrow, guys. Remember, short trading session ends at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so don't push anything tomorrow. Okay. Just remember what we were talking about on the VIX earlier. We could literally go a little higher and then get that pullback, and then people are definitely going to start calling for tops again, like they did on the last pullback, and say, "Oh, it's finally going down." But at the end of the day, just remember we talked about this ahead of time. We're prepared for it, and probably gonna, if we get that pullback, guys, chips are gonna set up massively. All right, so we are going to have a major dip buying opportunity over on the chip sector. Hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed these, just so we could, do that. And guess what, guys? We will have timestamps on this video. You will have already seen it by this point, but those will be there. I forgot last video. All right. Catch you guys. Peace.